Hail, hail, boys, and welcome to A Celtic World. We're a YouTube channel and podcast shining a light on the worldwide Celtic support. This show, we try to give a North American perspective on all things Celtic. So on tonight's show, we're coming from Bucks County to Bell Buckle, Tennessee, and from Cleveland to the Holy City. But wherever you are, you're all part of A Celtic World. So much needed 3 points on the weekend. We left it till late, as the show title says. Hopefully, it becomes something to build on as we go into yet another international break. So tonight we'll spend some time digging into the match and talk a little bit about the supporters collective meeting with the club on Monday and dig into a few other things towards the end. But let me introduce everybody. We got Chris here again tonight.
Yeah,
Chris, how we doing?
We're okay. And
Good.
yourself?
Doing good, man. Good to see you again. We got Jimmy from Cleveland. What's up, Jim? Pound for pound.
Pound for pound, the best CSC in the country.
Connor's going to be trying to push you for that title. And, of course, Connor from Charleston, Holy City CSC. How you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, dude. We love trying to get everybody on. So I know it's tough because we've built up. I was saying right before we got on, it's our 15th episode, so we've built up a little bit of a stable of good guests, and so sometimes it can be hard to find guests, but it's pretty good. But it's fun.
We're here for you, though.
Yes. I will say Jimmy is an immediate responder, so that's gonna put you up on the list.
That's what I do.
So we can just jump right into the match. Like I said, three points was huge. 3 goals, huge. For the team that's been struggling to score. So first things first, let me put up the lineup, and just to get your reaction to what the lineup was when it came out. Jimmy, what did you think when you saw the lineup?
I thought it was probably as good of a lineup as you could get at the moment. I was kind of surprised Tierney didn't start. Mm-hmm. I figured he was either, rested or there was some other underlying issue. Obviously, he didn't play great in Europe, but nobody did. So that was a little bit of a surprise. And I thought Maeda out on the wing again made sense.
Yeah. How about you, Connor?
I agree with Jimmy. I thought it was interesting that Tierney was on the bench. I thought he was in good form, so I didn't expect that for him to, need the first half off or anything. I thought Ralston was good. It was against a team like Motherwell. I know we'll get into it, but that seemed like a winning side, like an easily winning side, and I was hoping it was going to turn out that way. And I'm happy to have the 3, but it was a little disappointed by the performance.
Yeah, I would agree. Chris, I'm sure you were like me in that not happy seeing Schmeichel starting.
Yeah, well, that's my only glaring that's the one that I kind of wish was different. I wish Sinisalo had gotten the start. But besides that, you're just trying to find a starting 11 that's going to go out there and compete. And we've been so hit or miss. I don't think there's any real eyebrow raises when you change. You put McCallan in or Ralston or some of these other players, just because if whoever was in the place before is not performing, then you got to shake it up and make some changes. So maybe that's what Brendan Rodgers was doing or whatever. But yeah, Schmeichel was the only one that I was a little bit disappointed in.
Yeah,
but I was screaming that at my television after that first goal.
Yeah, that was brutal. We've been talking about it. Even before that awful goal in Europe. I think it's something we've been talking about for a while. I think that's one of those one, I think we just need to see more of Sinisalo because I think like he may be the future, keeper. But then two, I think he's probably better suited right now to be the number one guy. So I was kind of disappointed to see Schmeichel get the start, but I agree on it. Like most like Chris said, like I think Ralston and Donovan are kind of like 1A and 1. I think I tend to think that Donovan's probably his number one guy right now, but he doesn't want to play him a lot at the same time. He wants to kind of not give him too many minutes on the legs. So and Ralston, and I've always said that I think he's just a suitable backup. He's not great, but he'll do a job for you. So
it was kind of a team to grind a little bit, like against the Motherwell with, McGowan in the middle instead of Hatate and Ralston playing right back. So a little more typical SPFL lineup.
Yep. So in terms of the match, then, how did you feel starting off, Connor? How the game start off for Celtic?
So Schmeichel just seemed Schmeichel's frustrating right now. He seems to have gotten old quick. He seems to, I don't know what he was doing with trying to defend with his like far arm. It just he's the first one to jump on Cameron Carter-Vickers or Scales for making a small mistake and scream at people, but then I don't feel like he holds himself accountable in the same way. I was just very frustrated. I was hoping that this would be like before the international break, come in, get right, score a couple of goals, maybe like be a 3-0 type of victory and feel really confident going into break and then ultimately into, the Huns match. But just, I didn't walk away feeling super confident. And I still feel like Maeda is not in it. Like his heart's not in it. His head's not in it. He just seems like a different player. He seems like he's not on the ball as quickly. I feel like he's just not, I don't know, thrilled to be here, which concerns me greatly.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think he's not going to put the work in, but I think you're right in that he's uncomfortable now here. And then on top of that, uncomfortable playing in a new position at the same time, moving over to the right wing. So I think that's going to be an adjustment. So, obviously moving ahead to the end of the game, and we'll kind of start from the beginning, and we talked about it before, just maybe getting that goal will kind of start things off for him. But we've said that before a couple other times where he's scored a goal here and there, and because he hasn't scored a lot, even going back to the end of last season, we've talked about. But I guess moving on to how, in terms of the Motherwell match, performance-wise, first half again, kind of sluggish, I feel like, and that's been the story of the season. Just jumping ahead, I guess, to the goal, the penalty. Everybody agreed penalty. I think it was pretty obvious.
Yeah. It was an easy one.
Yeah. I do like Iheanacho. I think he is solidified that main striker role. I think he's fit in well, and he's not like a guy coming from England. And we talked about that in weeks past. Like some of those guys will come to Scotland and think they're going to boss the league and not put the work in. I feel like he's not that guy, and I think a lot of we might have thought he would be that guy. Chris, what do you think?
Kind of his rap.
Yeah, Chris, how do you think Iheanacho's starting off now?
I can agree with that. I mean, he's getting some shots. He's making good decisions. He's holding the ball up well. But I think to your point about coming up to Scotland and putting in the work, because ultimately that's what it actually takes to succeed. Is you've got to put in the work. And I think maybe his relationship with Brendan Rodgers is kind of why he's doing it and why he has kind of benefited. So I mean, you've got to kind of throw your hands up sometimes and go, well, when I first heard about him, I was not all that thrilled, because I'm like, there's way better younger options that will be a lot better for you, I felt, in the long run. But if it turns out that he's a good player and puts in the work, then yeah, I think that he absolutely can succeed at Celtic. But I mean, I think the jury's still out. I think you're going to have to wait until probably end of the year, like December, January, before we can really kind of assess like how much work is he actually putting in, because you can run out through 3 or 4 performances and not really like show all your cards. But so I think there's a little time to tell too. So grain of salt.
No, agreed. I do like he can take a penalty, which
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's huge
for us. Like, I'm always watching through my fingers whenever we got a penalty, because I have no faith pretty much in anybody out there taking them. But so far he's looked confident stepping up there to do that. So I mean, we can kind of, there wasn't a lot to the game. We can talk about the goals, even like the second goal, Nygren's goal, I feel like was a gift. I feel like Motherwell just needs to boot that shit up the park. And that, I think, changed the game a lot. They just put that on a platter. It reminded me a little bit of that goal Turnbull scored against the Huns. It was like the 4th goal. Which game? I forget which game that was, but something like that. Like, but you'll take those gifts.
Yeah.
And Nygren had just missed like a similar opportunity right before that. Not as cut and dry as that one, but how did you feel we came out in the second half? I know we gave up a couple goals, or we gave up a goal at the end of the first half. Jimmy,
it could have gone. It could have gone either way. Celtic's second goal was a gift, as you said. I mean, I probably could have scored that. The third goal, I mean, it was set up really nicely. Our Belgian wonder kid ran into an open space and played the ball over for Maeda, and Maeda did, what we're used to seeing him do. And I thought, we were talking about attitude. I think he celebrated with appropriate joy, because you kind of read the tea leaves sometimes, like, well, is he going to pull a Mark Viduka and just, sulk, or is he going to be happy? But he seemed genuinely happy. Now, what that means, it's just the excitement of the moment. But yeah, it was a weird game. It got very kind of concerning as the clock wound down. It really was looking like, to me, like it was going to be 2-2.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to get the 3 points, but yeah, to everybody's point, I think it's kind of like, okay, but Yeah,
I think it's the kind of thing you're like, how are we going to build off of this?
Yeah.
It's a step. What happens next, though, I think is the key. It's funny, Maeda, like, to go to try and score that on a header is something only I think he would do.
Yeah,
just because I feel like he almost knows his touch is so bad. He's like, it was at foot level, but I'm gonna put my head on this,
dive head first.
If he put that on his foot, it probably would have skied it over the bar or something from 2 feet out. But
yeah, it was a real weird dynamic at our place, because we had probably about a dozen people there to watch Celtic, to kind of in one corner of the bar, while the rest of the room watched Browns and Vikings from London, which started at 9:30. So of course, the sound that was on was the Browns game,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were kind of wondering what the screaming was down at the other end. And Sean, both you and Chris have watched, matches with us, and it's I don't know how. I mean, I've gone to Pittsburgh and seen how they watch a game, and they're singing, and there's no singing in Cleveland. There's just usually cursing, in different Scots or Irish brogues, or our nasally Great Lakes accent. So there was just a lot of muttering, and I think relief was kind of the overarching feeling after the game. And then it was like, well, let's see how the Browns can blow this one. And of course, they did not let us down.
Yeah, we had one like that at the Plough years ago. I remember where the Eagles were playing in London, and I mean the Plough, for the guys who've been to the Plough. I know Connor, you have, and Chris, you've been there, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
They've added more TVs since then, but at the time, all they really had was the big projection screen on the wall, and they told us ahead of time that being that we are a Celtic bar, we would be able to watch the game. And we got there, and they banished us to the upstairs, and we're watching like on laptops on the bar, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, oh. The good thing was like there was Eagles cheerleaders there, and Harold Carmichael was there. Connor, I'm sure you remember from back in the day. So my kids got their picture, and Jimmy, I'm sure you remember him too.
Oh yeah, sure.
Harold Carmichael pictures with my boys wearing Celtic jerseys. I mean, they were probably only like 12 and 10 or something at the time, so it was cool, but like not getting to watch the game like we planned. That's kind of the reason we left Fido and went to the Plough, was because we were kind of getting banished further and further into the bar.
we had two screens, so we were good, but yeah, it was a different dynamic.
Yeah, so let me throw some comments up. I think Williams got that kind of right. We are lacking up front. So, and just forcing Maeda to play out of position, I think we have like 3 left wingers and no right wingers really.
So many left wingers.
Yeah, and Yang.
We got another one coming back after the new year, I hope.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but like Yang has kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know if he may be that guy who, like, he had his move, set to go, and maybe he's kind of checked in, and like he's done. I don't think that's Maeda, but I think William's right. There is a limitation of options. And then Ravensbourne, I think this is Jamie. He's from up by me, Bethlehem. Welcome to the show. So in the end, I guess 3 points. I mean, that's really all that matters. Like, we're 3 points behind Hearts now still. 9 points ahead of the Huns. I know that I always have that in mind, even no matter what place they're in. I'm always going to be cognizant of where they're at. I guess, how are we feeling about where things are heading into this break? Chris, what do you think?
Well, I'm not going to say this very much, but I'm glad the international break is here. If for no other reason, maybe it gets a chance for a little bit of a reset. Some guys get away, they get to go and play international. The ones that aren't, maybe they get a little bit more time on, working out, doing something, going over stuff. I who knows? But like, I feel like we need kind of like okay, let's figure out what our issues are and kind of build from there. But like, you were talking about the Motherwell game. I think relief that we got the 3 points and we can kind of put everything behind us, because like I hate the international break. I hate losing before going into an international break more than I hate, just the international break itself. But I think it's a good thing that we can maybe get a reset. Maybe some younger guys, some other guys in the squad, can rotate, can get a little work in, and maybe we come back a little stronger after the break. I don't know, but I know that we're all kind of tired just from this last spell that, coming out of the transfer window and all the things that happened there. And then, the performances haven't been great. They've been subpar to what we should be and where we should be. And I think as a collective, Celtic support, that we all just need to take a little bit of a breather and say, okay, let's regroup, let's reset, and then we'll get ready for the rest of the matches coming on later in October.
No, agreed. Connor, how about you?
I concur with Chris. I think I'm very happy that this break is here. I think we need a reset. I didn't mean to jump all over Maeda earlier. I've been stewing on that since last weekend, and it's like, he still got the game winner for us, so respect there. But like, I think we need a mental break. I think Chris's word reset is the correct one. We've got 5 matches coming up the 2 weeks after international break, culminating with the Huns, and we need everybody in the right mindset. We need to shake off whatever this vibe is, the animosity towards the board, empty seats in Celtic Park. Like, we just need to shake it all off and focus on getting it done in Europe and at home when we get back.
No, agreed. I think, yeah, and I noticed the empty seats too on over the weekend. So, and that's not a good look. It wasn't, and it was a 10 a.m. start for
3 p.m.
So 3 p.m. for them. Like, it's not like it's an early start or late start that it's throwing people's schedules off. Like, that's kind of a message you almost got to believe, and and maybe that's what it takes. They've tried to do the silent protest and banners and just out and out singing at the board. So I don't know what's working or what's going to work, and we'll get to it in a few minutes, talking about the meeting with the board. But like, I don't know how much is going to come out of that even. But I'll throw this one comment up for you, Jimmy, and this is a good one. You mentioned the dynamic of the bar, and that's so true. We are not dynamic at all, and I'll take it to the one. I saw a post on Twitter, and it was the goal a few years ago. Jota was like a long crossfield ball, like from one end of the pitch to the other. Kyogo takes it, first touch, beautifully, and scores from 18 yards out. And the comment on it was like, you can't even imagine something like this happening this season, like a dynamic play like that. Like, I feel like we don't have it in us right now. And I don't know why. Maeda's, I think, can be a dynamic player, but I don't know, maybe and I think what we've talked about a lot is that a lot of it comes down to the midfield, and is Callum McGregor too far gone at this point, and are we just too slow because of that kind of thing? I don't know. Jimmy, how do you see, can we be dynamic again?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to mention we're 2 points behind Hearts, not 3. So there's that. So that's good. Yeah, McGregor certainly looks like another one of these guys that got old in a hurry, and is not the usual Cal Mac running the show, bringing the ball up from the back when need be, a lot of sideways, a lot of backwards passing. And, guys like O'Reilly, for example, are dynamic players and did drive the game through the midfield. And we just don't have that right now. I thought, Hatate can be that at times, but for whatever reason hasn't been. I don't know if he's somebody that's, looking to move on, and that's kind of coloring his outlook too. And, the rest of the guys in central midfield are, nothing spectacular. So it would be good to get one of those, stereotypical box to box midfielders like Cal used to be. And I think that a lot of creativity would flow through that.
Oh,
We're just not seeing right now.
No, agreed. Let's throw this up there. I think this is true to a point that he has needed help, but I think the main thing, I think he needs a break. If he plays every minute of every match, and for a guy who's seemingly slowing down, I don't think that's going to help his situation improve at all. I kind of feel like, and we talked about at the beginning, like the midfield, the 5 central midfielders we have, I feel like are pretty strong, or 6 central midfielders. But I don't know, we're just not, something's off in that, and they're not getting involved. And it is a lot of that. Calmac gets the ball and just ends up dumping it back to Carter Vickers and Scales, and it's that horseshoe of death, and it's just brutal to watch.
I had really hoped Engels would be that guy. Somebody they invested a lot of money in, seems to be like a really skillful player. Maybe he's just not suited for Scotland. I don't know, but it just hasn't panned out for him. And when he's starting games on the bench, it kind of tells you what Rodgers thinks of him.
Right. And then like even Bernardo, I feel like is, I think there's a player in there, and you kind of saw he, got the start in Europe, and for me was probably I thought one of our better central midfielders, at least, if not one of the better players out there for us that day. And then back to on the bench and on the weekend. So I don't know what the story is there either, but it's just been a frustrating season. And I think what who was it who said that? Sligo boy, that dynamic is true, that it's been missing all season long. Like there's just no dynamic play in anything we do. I feel confident defensively for the most part. We gave up 2 goals over the weekend, which was odd for us, but I don't know.
We seem to be playing down to our opponents consistently, and that's again, we'll get to the board in a second. Seemingly they're okay with that. Seemingly, as long as we're slightly ahead of the Huns, then all is right with the world. But like, this is not why Rodgers came back. He's got to be so frustrated. Again, I'm glad to have this reset with international break so he can get his head right, but he's just got to be stewing inside, knowing that, I don't know what they said to him when he signed. I don't know what they've been saying to him, but he's just got to be stewing. That again, he seemingly, like, we didn't go out and get people that he wanted, and we sold young guys that he wasn't ready to move on from unless he had his own signings in, and we just we didn't do that for him. And again, to me, it seems like we play down consistently to our opponents, and it might be an energy thing. I don't know that it's a talent thing. I don't think that's right. I think it's got to be an energy thing.
Agreed. Yeah, because I mean, somebody said it earlier, but we should be, I think, a 3-0 at home versus Motherwell going into the international break was, I think, what we needed to do that day. And we just left. No, go ahead. We just left more questions.
We've got newer members that have joined us, new to Celtic, joined us in the last year or two, and I have to look at them after a match like that. I have to be like, I swear, like when we used to play Falkirk or St. Johnston or Motherwell, like we used to kick the shit out of them. That used to happen. I don't know if it's a family-friendly show, but like we used to kick the shit out of these teams, and that would set us up really well with confidence going into major matches, whether in Europe or against the Huns or what have you. And we don't do that anymore. We don't pummel people, 5-0. It just doesn't happen anymore. Pumping every once in a while used to be really good for our egos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, and good to watch. And just so even we scored 3 goals over the weekend. We had a penalty, pretty much a gift goal, and then the third goal was nice. But so we got 3 goals, but I don't know, wasn't pretty.
No.
Well, but it's just consistency though. That I think consistency does everything. If whoever's playing up top and on the wings, if they're consistently scoring goals, they're going to continue to consistently score goals. If the midfield's doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to consistently do it. But if one of those parts isn't working correctly, or the pieces are out of place, or Maeda's not in the same headspace, or whatever it is, like that's what leads to this. I mean, like it's a symptom of if they're playing together and they understand each other and they have a mission from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they stay consistent, they're going to win those matches 3-0. They're not going to have any breakdown of communication. You're not going to see the same sorts of things. But I think that's been disrupted. I think that consistency that what Jimmy was talking about earlier with Calmac, I think that he's lost a step, and it's not consistent for him anymore. He's having to dig deeper and deeper and deeper to chase balls and try to move the ball around, and when you do that, you lose the creativity part of it because you're so busy trying to just keep up with it. But I think that's a valid point. Is where we mentally going into this international break is. I think we just need to really reset and try to figure out what pieces are there and how we're going to build from it. I think that's the main thing that Brendan Rodgers has to do, like in short order.
Agreed. All right. I think we've covered the game pretty well. Before we get into the fan meeting, let me just play our little subscribe clip.
Hey mate, you are watching the least boring Celtic YouTube chat show in the world. And it is totally free. Jeez, that's got to be worth a subscribe, eh?
Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. I'm just going to start saying that and not play Gavin's clips. But all right, so again, they talked about doing the silent protest versus Braga. The board, or members of the board, or Nicholson, agreed to meet with the collective, Celtic Fans Collective, or whatever it's called. And they met on Monday, and the Fans Collective put out a little overview of the meeting. It's not like the minutes of the meeting, but I'll just throw up a little bit up there. I don't know if you guys got a chance to read that or the statement that Celtic, the club, put out afterwards. But I guess first things first. Jimmy, did you get a chance to take a look at that?
I did, and I think a lot of it is kind of performance art. I don't see any real changes coming from this, whether somebody's position is untenable or not. is really irrelevant. I mean, if you go back to, the big change with when Fergus came in, that was done because, Fergus had the money to do it. And not be, and was able to affect change that way. Yeah, sure, there was, sack the board and all that other stuff too, but they had a money man that was able to put up to make those changes, and there isn't that now. You're not going to. I hate to sound so pessimistic about it, but you're not going to affect change to Desmond Desmond's outlook. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. He's gonna employ the people he wants to employ, and that's it. And you can silent protest or not silent protest all you want, but at the end of the day, it's still his show.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. Chris, did you get a chance to take a look at it?
Yeah, I mean, I read both statements. I'm the type of person that I don't want to speculate about stuff like that was said or not said or that sort of thing, because I wasn't there. I haven't been a part of any of the discussions or whatever, but it seems like at least that we're communicating a little bit, which is maybe a good thing. But I mean, I think Jimmy's right. I don't know. I don't know how much change there actually will and could be if the man that really holds the purse strings says, "Oh, well, I don't want to do that, so we're not going to." And I don't I don't know how I really feel about that, because I'm not there and know all of the ins and outs of it. So, but just from a outsider's perspective, I mean, it looks like it was a sterilized meeting, where nothing really got accomplished.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think you're right in terms of. I think the one positive to take out of it was that whether they do it or not is another thing. But so the club, I think, realizes they need to communicate better to the supporters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at least they stated that. Do they do anything about it? That I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the other stuff in the Celtic statement was, and again, like Chris said, I think sterile, and I feel like there was excuses being made, and another one on one hand excuses being made, and the other hand maybe not even taking responsibility. Like, well, we're fine. We're like thinking we're doing things the right way, which I don't think that really jives together with. How did you see it, Connor? Did you get a chance to read it?
Yeah, I think coming from the corporate world, like it's not uncommon for a CEO and a CFO, Nicholson and McKay, to give time to just hear gripes and just hear you out, right? But it doesn't mean it's going to result in action. This happens all the time. It doesn't mean they're going to turn around and go to the rest of the board and say like, okay, it's really time to take it's really time to take these guys seriously, or they're gonna like we're gonna ride on our hands. We need to do X, Y, and Z. That's not happening at all. It's okay. We heard you out. We get you. We get what you're saying, and nothing will come of this. I think it's more important. Honestly, I think it's more important the conversations that Rogers is having behind the scenes. I think he has to, in my mind, he's got to be threatening them, essentially saying like, what did you bring me back for? This is what we agreed to. This is what was going to bring me back. Having a different outlook and approach to Europe is why I came back. Now, over the last 6 months, you've consistently said one thing and done another. Now I'm putting my foot down, and we need to do X, Y, and Z. I think that's any real change is going to result with Rogers, not with a collective of fans. I think. I mean, I think it's admirable, and I think it's the right thing to do to stand up and say, "Listen, we're not going to spend our money anymore if you're not listening to us." But paying lip service is different than actually taking action. So I think fans are going to have to continue to speak with their wallets and
Yeah.
think about not buying the next horrendous new line that they're introducing from Adidas, or not think about not pre-ordering the next the sixth kit that's going to launch, and not and
The Henrik Larsson collection.
yeah, oh god, so bad, so bad. All hail the
Yeah.
King of Kings, but so bad.
And it's poor timing too.
Yeah,
and
poor
that's
time.
and that's like comment here. The board will react to nothing other
Totally
than revenue
agree.
decline. Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think that's how you affect change in the corporate world. Is they need to see a difference in the bottom line on the P&L sheet, and then they have a reaction. And oftentimes that's a very quick reaction, but it's going to take some time for I think it's going to take some time for fans to have an impact there. I think they will, as long as they speak with their wallets and not just their voices. And I think Rodgers is going to have to be the voice of reason behind the scenes.
Yeah. And then William again. And I agreed that the first statement that Celtic put out, whatever that was, a month ago, that was worse than this one. Definitely. This was an improvement, but still not good. And I like the AI Friday night statement. That's kind of true. But again, you're right. It is corporate jargon, and nothing's been addressed really since then. So yeah.
Nor will it. We've got months. We've got a couple
I know,
months to
yeah.
go here.
And how much can you do to affect that change? Like, I'm not buying any. I haven't bought any kits this year, which is rare for me. But how much of that is needed, to affect change? People are still, for the most part, buying tickets and for the matches. But I mean, there was, like we said, there were empty seats on Sunday versus Motherwell, and will that continue and get worse? Those are probably the things that may affect them more, in terms of like seeing big swaths of empty green seats in Celtic Park can cause a better reaction probably from the board. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a frustrating time to be a Celtic fan, but I guess it's not all dark, other than it's, another week and a half without Celtic.
Yeah, we're down in the dumps, but we still.
Which is the darkest. Yeah.
This is hardly the darkest times we've been through. Right?
Yeah, we're not the Huns.
Yeah.
Oh, there I go again. That's what the board's looking for. Just stay an inch above them, and you're good.
It's seemingly the strategy.
Just wait until October 16th when the Celtic Adidas special comes out.
Oh wow!
What is the reaction to that going to be?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the point, though, right? Is that they're gonna roll stuff out, and people are gonna go, "Fuck, now, like, this is ridiculous. This is the stuff that we've been dreaming about as Celtic apparel goes for years, years and years, right? But now you're going to get it, and it's going to come at a time that, like, you're mad at the board. And like, I haven't bought anything from Celtic proper in a long time, and I mean, even I'm going to look at it when it comes out, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's nice. But at the same time, I would rather have Celtic, be open and honest about the things that happen, in the transfer window, and not try to shut down, fan collectives, and not try to, hush the dissent that's amongst the ranks, when, everybody's got a right to be mad, because this is our money. This is our time to go and enjoy, a sport and this camaraderie. I mean, like this podcast even, right? I mean, like, how much money have you spent in your lifetime on Celtic stuff? Like, but like, at the end of the day, they're a business, right? We see it as our buddies, our friends, our family, and at the end of the day, it's corporate jargon, right? Like it's run as every other corporation, on the planet.
Yep.
So I mean, that's the real conundrum for supporters is do I maintain that, but at the same time, like it's a nice looking kit that's going to come out, or it's a nice pair of shoes or whatever. It's like Jimmy said, like I get it, like I want to be this force for change, but like at the same time, this is like what I spend my money on is like Celtic stuff because that's what I love. So like it's a real tough situation for a lot of people, and I mean I think calling it out is what we need to do. But I mean, like I said, it's going to be tough when that nice Adidas stuff rolls out.
Yeah.
Now's the time to hold them accountable. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They roll the dice. You said it. You said it right. It's a business. At the end of the day, the goal is to make money, right? And the board rolled the dice and saw us. Now we're gonna see that money for the Champions League that we've been able to count on. We see it in the rearview mirror, and that is when I would hope that at least in the boardroom, people are holding themselves accountable for whoever decided to roll the dice there and run lean and mean. That was a mistake, and it's going to be a very expensive mistake to make. And despite the money that we're sitting on from transfers, it's I think that's the only way to evoke change is to hold them financially accountable. And hopefully, again, I hope Roger's the one having those conversations behind the scenes, because I don't think a CEO and CFO or any member of the board is going to have those conversations with a fan group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I'll throw up a comment from Sligo boy again. And this is it's true, and we've talked like the Maeda situation, like he was completely devalued. Like if we would have sold him probably before the transfer window ended, we would have made I'm assuming in the probably 20 million pound range. What do you get now for him when he wants to leave in January? And he probably will, or even at the end of the season, when he's, last year coming off a 33 goal season. This year, does he end up the season with like 6-8 goals, something like that, and completely devalued, playing in a position he's not comfortable in? It's just the business end. Like I do think they do some things well on the business side of things, but like this decision is just mind-boggling to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, Connor, I do think that kind of thing is that's another thing that's gonna hit us in the finances, like losing that sale money that they would have gotten on Maeda, which I hate to see guys go, but like that is kind of how we have to do things. And Maeda's my guy, and I came out defending him from you all day today. So,
but that's money that's gone that you'll never get back, no matter how many Celtic baseball jerseys you sell. You'll never get that money back.
Oh, that thing was the worst.
Oh, so bad.
I have seen a couple people who bought it though.
Really?
I saw that being represented by somebody in Chicago.
So I guess moving on, we have, because we're on a deadline tonight because we got the Phillies, but and we've rarely spent any time talking about the other side of town at all. But being that Russell Martin got let go this week, and then it looks like Stevie Girard is coming back. Does that strike fear into anyone, Chris?
No,
I think I know the answer, but
no. I mean, like, out of the people that would go and be a manager for them, like he's the perfect guy for them, right? Does it really strike fear in me? No. Why? Like,
right.
why should it strike fear in me? Like he won a league one season, and you act like we didn't win a quadruple treble years ago, and now we're in what was it? Going into five in a row this year.
Yep. Yeah,
Whatever.
and
Bring it,
as Anton
bitch.
Rogan's left foot says, the world died and they won. And they won
Yeah.
they won the COVID season in empty stadiums. And so, I mean, take that with whatever. I mean, it's it's a league title, so give it up to them. But maybe it doesn't mean as much as some others. And their fans weren't in the stadium to celebrate it, so I guess that's good for. I'll take some joy in that.
Public order. Yeah.
Yes. But Jimmy, how about you? What's your thoughts on it?
They'll probably get better performances out of those players, at least initially. There'll be kind of that new manager bump. But I don't know, from looking at the team, it's like they made some pretty bad off-season decisions that they've got to live with those no matter who's in charge. And so, yeah, it may, they may start winning some games, but I don't know if it's a complete game changer, at least not this year. Maybe he'll evolve into a better manager. I don't know. I mean, Rodgers always seemed to have his number first go round, so we'll see.
I like this one too. That's very true. How about you, Connor?
No one was a bigger Russell Martin fan than me. I was, it's really gonna miss seeing him across the pitch. I think he was a great thing for us. I'm sad to see him go. But I would lie if I didn't say I have a healthy level of anxiety. I'm not. This decision. I mean, let's assume that he's going to be the next manager. It doesn't strike fear into my heart, but I think I have a healthy level of anxiety with how we've been playing down to opponents this year, and seemingly again the board is very comfortable with us being, an inch ahead of them at all times, and they're very comfortable with that instead of the mile that we should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Jimmy. I think they're going to come back from the international break and have some excitement. They're going to have potentially some heart. And, that's, I'm not scared, but I have a healthy level of anxiety.
Yeah, I think, I'm not anxious about that. I have a healthy level of anxiety about Celtic, and I don't think what they're doing, Rangers, is having any effect on that right now. I think we need to fix our house more than anything else.
Well said.
And then we'll be good. So,
yeah.
So enough about them. We should never talk about them. So international break coming up. I know, like, we're usually geared up to watch Celtic on the weekends. What do you guys do outside of Celtic? Chris, what's your plan for the weekend? I'm sure it's going to be working on the farm.
Yeah, I've got a bush hog that I've got to get a pop out of that I spent most of the day Sunday working on it, and part of the day Saturday, and so yeah, I got some farming stuff to do this weekend. I mean, I've got Georgia football, Georgia Auburn this coming weekend, so I've got that. But I mean, apart from that, I spend most of my time outside, working outside or working on tractors and bush hogs and shit like that. Chasing hound dogs.
It is a gap in your weekend though when Celtic's not there. I feel like.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I mean, it completely throws off the.
It throws off the whole vibe.
Yeah, the whole regular schedule of things of like, okay, now I'm watching Celtic at 9 a.m. and I can get up and I eat breakfast and all of the things, and it's a routine, and then I can start the rest of my Saturday or Sunday if after I've watched Celtic and I've kind of had that purge. But when I don't have it, I mean, unfortunately, I go and work on stuff, so it's not as much fun.
No. Agreed. How about you, Connor? What you got going?
I will be focused on my other obsessions. As I've mentioned on this show before, I'm originally from Philadelphia, so the Eagles and the Phillies have to right the ship. Each has to right their own ship, respectively, this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to
Hopefully,
the Eagles getting back on track, and the Phillies hopefully still being in it by the time the weekend rolls around.
yes, that's a big if. I
And
think.
we're finally down into the 70s here in Charleston, so once this next bout of rain passes over this weekend, I hope to be outside, as Chris is doing.
Yeah, nice. How about you, Jimmy?
Well, the leaves haven't fallen yet, so I don't have to do any raking. They're just starting to turn, which is nice. Actually, we're kind of kicking around, a few of us getting together to watch Ireland on Saturday afternoon. It's at 2:45. They're playing Portugal in Portugal. So yeah, we'll see the perennial underachievers and see what else is happening down at PJ's. Ohio State, who I hate, by the way, is playing at noon. So they should be mostly out of there by that point. And yeah, the Browns play Sunday, 1:00, as always, except for last weekend. So they're on the road this weekend to Pittsburgh. I'll make a couple bets with all my Pittsburgh friends and see how many points they'll give me. So I'll have enough to keep myself occupied, I think.
Yeah. I know for me, like, I'm going up to New York to pick my son up from college on Saturday, and
Nice.
And I got to drive him back up there next weekend, and I was hoping to be able to squeeze in a Fenian boys trip, but it just didn't work out. No game this weekend, and then next weekend they're playing on Sunday, and we're going up Saturday. So it'll have to be another weekend that I visit the new club that they got going. I think it's called Ernie O'Malley's, but I got to get up there. And then I don't really watch the Eagles anymore because I'm still on my protest from them sharing a stage with Trump and Saquon golfing with him. And I tend to hold a grudge, so eventually I'm sure I'll get back to them. And that's my bright spot for like if the Phillies get knocked out, they're like, yeah, at least they're not going to stand on stage with Trump with the World Series trophy and just ruin my whole Philly sports scene.
If anybody from the Galway CSC is watching, I'll be in Galway for the Dundee game. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, I hope to catch the game there. It's noon their time, so it'll be nice. I'm going with my sisters, and one of my nieces has already planned Celtic Browns doubleheader. There's actually a Browns backers bar in Galway too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it should be a good time.
In Galway?
Yeah.
Is it Galway City that bar is in?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're about half a mile down the street from one another. So
okay. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I would have loved that to find an Eagles bar, but I was over there in the summer, so it wouldn't have worked out. But
I was over there in July. I think we just missed each other. I was so.
It was last summer. It was. I was there. Yeah, I was in Galway too. Loved Galway. Beautiful, fun place. The city's awesome. So, yeah. So, I guess we'll wrap it up because me and Connor got to get to watching the Phils. Hopefully, beat the Dodgers and keep that series going. Aaron Nola need a big performance.
Big performance. You pay him like a one. Might as well pitch like one.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's good catching up with you guys. I'll have to have you guys on again soon. Me and Chris still got to get together and come up with our international break show next week. But so have a few ideas. We'll come up with something good though.
Might as well make it a political one.
Yeah. For it. This is the most political I got when I talked about Trump tonight. Yeah, one of these weeks we'll just have to go off. But yeah, I think you're right. Portland will start it.
Portland and Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, boys. Thanks for coming on. Hail, hail. We'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Talk to you.
guys. Talk to you
Cheers.
soon.
Carolina.
Bye bye.